What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the Triple Threat Survivor podcast. I'm your host, Ethan,
And I'm Quentin.
and welcome back to another episode. Today, we will be discussing episode 2, Survivor 50 Therapy Carousel, what our thoughts and opinions on the episode are, and overall how we go. And we also have the results of our first MVP poll. Well, kinda.
And before we jump into the video, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and make sure you hit the like button too, and so again put notifications. That way you can keep track of our upcoming videos every Thursday.
Yep, and make sure to follow the TikTok. Links in the description below and on our bio. We post updates on there a little bit, and that's also where you're going to be voting for MVP in the coming weeks. Also, one more thing before we begin, like Quentin said, make sure to hit that notification bell so you get updates and whenever we may be going live. We got that permission. Today I got the email earlier. I meant to tell you that. I got the email earlier that we are now able to go live on the YouTube channel. And we're trying to get it working so we can go live on the TikTok so we can discuss Survivor right after the episode airs. But for right now, we are going to be continuing on with this episode, which is going live to everyone on Friday at 7 Eastern. And welcome in. So let's go ahead and get started with the episode. I think Quentin has the first point to open up the episode.
Okay, well before we get into what the episode gets into and so again, I gotta say this episode in the beginning got very emotional fast and so again.
It did. I kind of reckoned that it would. Back in. Okay, so I was kind of surprised to see that much of a reaction to Kyle leaving because I understand that they were, they liked Kyle, they were close to him, but the immediate rally behind, but yeah, like you said, it was very emotional, and I was like, oh wow, this is gonna be a very down episode, like seeing Kyle, Q's reaction, Genevieve, and then later on seeing Camilla's reaction at the challenge, but then we cut to a very well we seen something happen on the island between Joe and Christian.
Oh Lord. Oh, what happened with Kristen?
Well, I think Joe and Christian were trying to tend to the fire, and Christian started leaning down in like a weird kind of stance. I think Joe was worried about his back, and one of two injuries we see in this episode, and Christian, in no better terms, um, what's the best way to put it? He what's the way to put it?
Cried yourself.
He crapped himself. Yeah, there's we and he had to go to the ocean, and that's how the episode started. That is we went from a very emotional scene, seeing people mourn the loss of an injured player, to a 30-some-year-old man with like an IQ of 140 pooing himself.
So, and I'm pretty sure that was like in the first like 5 to
all in the first 5 minutes. Yes, it the word roller coaster comes to mind. Like, it's just insane how all that happened at the main beginning of the episode.
So earlier when we was talking about how Kyle was leaving the island Silicate, also already knew about how everybody was getting upset, but there was one person that you could also see that had a big impact on him leaving Silicate. It was Genevieve in Silicate. Now, also we talked about this last episode of Silicate, like how she was the one crying a lot in Silicate, but seeing again in the newer episode of Silicate really shows something. It's like about their relationship in Silicate.
Now, I heard online, but again, this is hearsay, so hearsay warning. This is not confirmed information. This is just what I seen someone else say on the internet, and not everything on the internet is true. However, I did see someone mention the fact that Genevieve and Kyle may have had a pre-game alliance before the season started. Yeah, apparently there's been a lot of that this season. Which as far as me, I think that's just something that you shouldn't bring into the game. I think you should honor the game and not go around trying to sneak around. But I did hear that they had a pregame alliance, and that may be a little, obviously you hate it. Me and you were on an all-star season with each other. I would hate it to see you leave just for the fact that not only you're my friend, but also, just to see someone who just won the season leave so early. It sucks. But it also may be a little bit that they had a little scheme going on.
Strange, because I thought, because I remember hearing this on Fire and so again. I thought I might have heard this wrong whenever they said it back in like 2 seasons ago until like on Fire podcast, Survivor podcast, but I thought they said they would not know who they're going against in Silvergate, and how will they know? And they're in like the pre-island, I guess, where they're waiting to go to the main island, Silvergate. They cannot speak to each other none in Silvergate. They are not supposed to be talking to each other.
See,
Because I
this
remember
is so with Survivor 50, a returnee season, they all knew that there was going to be returnees. So they probably, went ahead and was like, okay, just in case you return. So they don't know for a fact that they're all coming in, but they suspect it. Another pregame that lots of people are talking about is actually Rick Devens and Christian Hibiki, which is turning out to be the two lead players this season, and Coach and Kobe and Ozzy and Sari, and there's all sorts of different deals people are talking about. But again, like I said, and like you said with the On Fire podcast, it's all hearsay. I mean, there's a chance none of it's true. You don't know.
yeah. Another thing I want to say about Kyle's early absence in the island until get Q's reaction to it. Yes, he's upset about it until get, but now he's over here thinking game like, okay, we just lost a vote now. We do not have the numbers, so they get Rizzo into the alliance, and that's the new Kyle for the alliance.
Oh yeah, that's I forgot about that. Yes, so Rizzo actually took accountability. He's like, listen, I've been like an obnoxious little child the first couple days. I need to tone it down and lock in. I was like, I'm glad Rizzo did that because I, personally like Rizzo, although literally no one else does apparently. I really like Rizzo, so I'm kind of hoping that he is able to get in there. And I like that group: Kobe, Q, Rizzo. I mean, that's a pretty strong trio and squad there.
Yeah, it is. Okay, so what happened after that? After that first like 8 minutes, so like of the episode.
So we did all that, and then we cut to the reward challenge, and in the first 10 minutes of the episode, we see everyone come on the boats. Jeff does the little "come on out, getting your first look to see it," blah 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 tribe, and then you get the shocking reaction of now getting your first look at the tribe Kyle was on. Everybody's like, "Oh my gosh, where's Kyle?" You see Camilla immediately start absolutely losing it because obviously, I mean, a lot of her game was probably hoping that Kyle came back. So,
Yeah,
and I was kind of thinking, I bet them players, they're all experienced players. I bet they realized the moment that the losing tribe came in second that something crazy had happened. Because it's always the losing tribe comes in third, because it's like getting your first look at the Dakal tribe. Rob voted out Lost Tribal Council. But then you got the third tribe come in, it's like, well, they didn't go to Tribal Council. Where's Tommy at? So,
yeah.
and
Well,
then,
it's fair.
oh, go ahead.
It's very emotional for Camilla too, and so because her and Kyle back in their season, they was very close. Number
Very
one
close.
ally, they was very close to Silvergate. So yeah, her crying and Silvergate, battling and Silvergate is very understandable.
Yes. Along with that, so in the challenge, it was the classic challenge where you go, you hit the toe and you go on it, and you throw the 3 rings onto the pose. CeeLo wins, and Kylo gets second, getting the camp stuff. Also, just want to cut in here and talk about this real quick. I don't see it on the notes, but obviously, this is of course a big point. Ozzy versus Coach episode 2 in 2 episodes. We were 2 for 2 for them going at each other. Do you think what Coach is doing, Coach and Ozzy going after each other, do you think this is good gameplay or bad gameplay?
Okay, it depends. If you're looking at Coach's point of view, I think his gameplay is his gameplay. It's not good or bad. So he's playing the way
You
he's
cannot
gonna
compare
play.
Coach to anybody. It is impossible.
No, because again, he mentions it in the episode 2 and so again, because Ozzy tries to bring up like the one challenge so they did and so like
The key challenge, yes.
Yeah, the key challenge. But again, here's Coach ready to defend himself, saying, "I did not agree to that. I played my way in Silicate. I'm gonna win, try to win no matter what in Silicate." And again,
And you
how
can't
can
blame
you
him.
be mad? Yeah, you can't blame it.
You can't blame him.
It's a 5 for peeps' sakes. You can't just like, oh sure, you can have it. But here's the thing: whenever Ozzy got that key down, Silicate, and a cube was like in Silicate, you see Ozzy was over there vying for his life for a too in Silicate. So
He wasn't necessarily being the honorable person himself.
No.
He's getting mad at Coach for 5 what he was doing it too. But I gotta agree, you can't compare Coach. But for Ozzy, this may be bad for his game because Coach is gonna make Coach is a pretty good social game, and I think Sari even mentions it herself in the episode that Ozzy is notorious for having a bad social game. So I think it's going to bite him in the foot. But I just wanted to mention real quick before we get on to the next thing about it that again happened.
Okay, so they're in like when they get back into the island, so again, Aubrey's over here in the island thinking like, wow, everybody on my team is crazy. I cannot deal with this so again. And I offer her like, what is this woman on right now?
Aubrey was not in a good mental space, I think, coming into this season.
Yeah, I remember in the episode she was talking about how she wasn't gonna have like a crash out again and so again this season this time, or try not to anyway.
Which I'll give Aubrey credit. She came very close to winning the game twice, or not close, but like she was a couple moves away from doing a lot better both of her times. And I understand where she's coming from. Yeah, then now, Genevieve and Aubrey, they have some immaculate beef going on, and then, of course, which I'll go ahead and let you explain it out, what happened with the rest of the tribe there.
So whenever Aubrey was walking around Silky, you can notice one detail. She is carrying her bootleg with her everywhere. And Genevieve notices too, she's like, why is she doing that? Why is she bringing her bootleg like there's a child in there and stuff like that? So she thinks she must have a boomerang idol in there, or some kind of advantage. So she gets her alliance, or basically everybody on the island, what it seems like apparently at this point. They all get a plan to look for her bag. They got two people on watch. They got Q watching over here on this side. They got I forgot who was watching on this side.
I think it's Q and Stephanie, and then Colby and Genevieve was doing the looking.
Yeah, but they look for her bag and find nothing.
Which is hilarious because of what happens later.
Yeah, that's actually, that makes me hilarious. Okay. So what happened next?
So, and then we get a good look. We get a look at Jonathan. He's being the provider, getting a bunch of fish, going spearfishing for the people. Everyone's happy. And good old Coach is like, I'm going to hop back into this. Back like he's back when he's first playing Survivor at Tocantins. He said he's going to go fishing with Jonathan. They seem to be having a good time. And then Jonathan like goes underwater and he comes back up. And Coach is kind of like laying head first with his like arms out, and it's kind of at first, you guys know Coach. He's kind of he's a character. He kind of does these little dragon poses and stuff like that, and so you don't really know them. And I think that's what he's thinking too. Jonathan's like, okay, Coach is just like he's just having a moment in the water, and then I think he sees Coach is like holding his leg a little bit, and Jonathan's like, Coach, guys, and then Coach is just like. He's like braids up. He's like going into the water, like dipping in. It's like, this may be not going good. So they actually had to get a boat to come and help Coach in the boat. His legs were cramping. Both of his legs were cramping, and he was just floating out there. So yeah, Jonathan literally saved Coach's life in a way. That's how they kind of pushed it. Although it wasn't Jonathan, it was the boat. But still, and it makes you think. And going back to Lando Snags YT's question from episode 0. There is some people here not in the same shape as they used to be. And Coach is one of them.
I think that's why actually you was actually talking about before the season started and stuff like that too.
Yeah, so I don't really know about everyone else, but yeah, it really does,
that really helps with the question about that earlier.
Yeah. And then what happened? So we see Aubrey freaking out. Well, not Aubrey freaking out. Aubrey causing people to freak out. Jonathan saving Coach from drowning. And what's going on in the other tribe, Quentin?
Okay, so in the other tribe, so again, funny enough, how we was talking about a Billie Eilish idol, Christian finds one. And you know who gives it to? Other person we've been mentioning a lot in this episode, Aubrey. That funny enough, they just got done searching her bag for the boomerang idol and stuff like that. And now she has it.
Which I thought was hilarious. But, what is the chances?
But I know you're supposed to be talking about this part and stuff like that, but I would like to talk about this part right here, personally.
Oh, please go ahead.
Okay, so at Q's Island, so like I forget what the
Oh wait,
island's
hold
called.
on. Sorry, one second. I thought you were talking about this subject. Let me just cut in real quick and say something that I think a lot of people missed. So a lot of people don't know this, and everyone. I've seen a couple people online being like, "Why in the world is Christian giving it to Aubrey?" A lot of people forget that Christian and Aubrey was both in Survivor David versus Goliath. Aubrey was playing as a returning player and didn't make it that far. So a lot of people don't remember that, but they were both on the same tribe and they actually got along. They had scenes together. So I don't know how there is that many people forgetting that. But I just wanted to throw that out there just in case anyone was watching and they also was confused. So that's where some of the, and like the little salute, like they actually knew each other. It's not just him giving it to a random person. But go ahead, Quentin.
Okay, well, actually, I want to add on to that. While Aubrey gets the idol and stuff like that, when she figures out someone get to the idol, you can see her tearing up and stuff like that. Something you barely see from her and stuff like that.
100%. And also, I was kind of surprised that she didn't automatically assume that it was Christian. But maybe it's just me. Maybe they weren't as close as I thought they were. But I one thing, I may have even mentioned it in episode 0 because we were talking about people who are duos like Kyle, Camilla, Savannah, and Rizzo. And I may have, but I may not have. I don't remember. But like I know Aubrey and Christian were a group, so I don't know. Anyways, I digress.
Okay, so in this part of the episode and stuff like that, we go back to Q's Island and stuff like that. And Q's over here talking about how everybody, like all 7 people on the island, only 3 people are pulling their weight around and stuff like that. Specifically, he talks about one specific person, and I'll let you talk about who that is.
Nobody likes Rizzo. I feel like I'm a broken record. Everyone always talks about Rizzo. Okay. Rizzo is apparently not an old school Survivor player, which I think Q, and I said this whenever Q played his first season, Q feels like an old school Survivor player. The way he like talks smack about people, the way he pulls his weight in the tribe, and he finds Rizzo to be very lazy. And Rizzo is doing this on purpose. Some people may say that he's rage baiting him. And to be fair, Rizzo, if they're all going to do it, then yeah, Rizzo has a strategy there. But someone else that they are pulling under the rug is Angelina. Which by the way,
the person who hasn't spoken a single thing in this past season yet.
Yeah, Angelina, which I'm sure Quentin does not know this term because he's a newer player, but a lot of big Survivor fans, and we'll give a little Survivor 101 lesson here about this terminology term, and if Quentin knows it, please correct me if I'm wrong if you do know it. Do you know what a purple edit is?
I do not know.
Okay, so a purple edit refers to a player that is in Survivor or Big Brother or any reality show, really, that is just completely edited out of the show. They get no diary room confessionals. They really get no screen time. And they really don't. This is in tribute to Purple Kelly from Survivor, the season Fabio won. Also, spoilers for that season. Crap. Yeah, so from the season Fabio won, that is a reference to Purple Kelly. She was edited out of the whole show until she quit randomly in like episode 10. So, yeah, and Angelina is getting the purple edit. Like, I forgot she was on the show.
See, I did too. I was like, if there's 7 of them, why in the world do I only remember 6 of them? It's okay.
Yeah, he said he was saying Rizzo and Angelina were the 2 laziest. I'm like, well, Angelina's so lazy she didn't even come to the island. Who in the world's that? And then I had to remember, like, oh yeah, she's there.
And Larry, like Q said, the only time you already see her doing something is just her staring, just looking, staring at everybody.
Yeah, I actually wonder. Like when I watch Survivor, a lot of the times I'm like, okay, how are they going to get eliminated? I don't see how Angelina gets eliminated. I honestly think she'll be this season's like 3rd place finisher who gets 0 votes.
She's basically just going to try. She's going to be flown, basically.
Yeah.
Everybody's going to forget she exists.
Yeah. So after all that, and after I agree with Q, and he has every right to be mad. I remember an old Survivor, which you don't see this nowadays. But they used to vote people out if they were useless in camp life or if they would cause issues.
Actually, I remember in I think it was 35, 36, I forgot which one it was. I forgot who the player was too, but they was pulling people out and stuff like that because they wasn't pulling the weight around and stuff like that. Like,
I'm talking like Survivor 40, well, like the new era. You don't see
uh,
that anymore. Yeah, but like, pre 40, that was like you probably had one person go a season because they were useless. I'm trying to think of an example, but I kind of can't off the top of my head. But I'm sure there's dozens. But most of the time, you don't remember them because they don't last long normally. But to get to the challenge, another Survivor Classic. I love these Survivor Classics coming out. So in the challenge, the two people had to go into the jungle to get the 200-pound snake, and they had to put it in the thing, and then they had to do like the trio. We are so bad with these terminologies. I don't know what you would call that.
they. How about you describe what the trio's doing?
All right, everybody, close your eyes. We're about to do a picture here. All right, so you have like this giant like board. You got like basically a pool ball, and there's like a little like y'all paint eggs. If you paint eggs, like the thing you put an egg on, and you had the three people had to balance it together. Which, by the way, well, is there anything you want to add before we go into the personnel part of this competition?
Yes, I was just saying. Don't forget about the board. They're using this shape as a snake that they have to go for and so yeah.
Oh, I didn't even realize. Oh, that is true. I was
Because
just
that
saying
makes
there
it
was an S. It was a snake, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a shape of snake as it had all those twists and turns, like the turns on it. Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
that's amazing. Let me pull up real quick my tribe list. Just so I can make sure that I got all these combinations correctly. And guys, by the way, thank you guys for the support. Although there hasn't been, that many comments or anything, we do see the views go up, and we are seeing that people are watching, and I am seeing the likes on TikTok. We had a TikTok the other day that got 22 likes, which that's still small, but for us and what we're doing here, that is a lot. So I appreciate it. And if you guys have any questions, please let us know. We got us on Spotify. We got the stream here on YouTube, and we also have a TikTok. If you have any questions, please let me or Quentin know. Quentin, sorry, I just butchered that name. And we will get back to you 100%. All right, so to start off the competition, they had to go get 3 different snakes, and I was, dude. So Survivor Heroes vs. Villains, if anyone recalls, there was a moment in it where they were doing a competition, which they don't do anymore, and I would absolutely lose my mind if they brought it back because I love it. But they probably won't do it anymore because it's kind of violent. Where they run and dig up a chest, and they basically physically fight to bring the chest in. And in this season, one of the matchups going against each other was the hero Colby versus the villain Coach, which is 2 people who is on this season. And in that, Coach absolutely rocked Colby, and Tyson had a very famous confessional where he says that Colby needs to just go ahead and give up being a man and switch to being a woman because there's no point of acting like he's a man anymore because he got owned by the Dragon Slayer. That is not. That is literally. That is Tyson's words back in Survivor Heroes vs. Villains. And now in Survivor 50, 20 years later, 20-something years later, Colby absolutely demolished that 200-pound snake. He was carrying it by himself for a little bit. That was insane.
Something I would like to add is every time I see this in like any season so again, I love this challenge. So it has to be one of my favorites.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. Colby was absolutely dominating. Camilla, I didn't realize how strong she was. She was absolutely manhandling that snake. And Mike White is the definition of don't underestimate.
Mm-hmm.
And just one thing, I just wanted to see if you kind of realize this too. The Kalo tribe, whenever they got to the balls. Okay, cut that out. That.
Okay. When they got to the table.
Yeah. Whenever they got to the ball, whenever they got to their balls.
Okay. Tell me when you're.
Okay, we will resume. Oh, whenever they got to the table, they selected Charlie, Jonathan, and who was the third one? Coach, to do the ball on the table. I thought that was kind of a weird decision because if it was me, I would want to do 3 people with similar strength levels. And I think sticking Coach and Charlie with Jonathan was crazy.
Well, I feel that they put Charlie there with Coach and Jonathan is because I feel like Charlie is actually smart. He'll know like when to pull.
Oh no, I 100% agree with Charlie and Coach. I mean, why did they put Jonathan? Because he is so much stronger than them. Like him pulling on the rope is going to be so much stronger than them two, even if he doesn't admit it. Like I would put someone like
Sure.
Mike White or did Tiff even play in that challenge?
Again, can't find her anywhere.
Listen, guys, I don't mean to be rude here, and I don't mean this at all. Me and Quentin do not mean to be judgmental. These guys have earned their spots here. Someone needs to please explain to me why Tiffany's there. I don't understand it. I still don't. Like,
I think they put her there because again she was a fan favorite, so again, and she overall her season. But other than that,
I don't think you could even argue that. That's the argument people would give, but I can name you
no,
30
I don't
people.
agree with.
No, I
don't
know.
agree.
Yeah, we've talked about this. I don't know why she's there, and she's not. Normally in All Star seasons, I think of David from Big Brother All Stars 2. He shouldn't have been there at all. But at least David brought the aspect of like, hey, I'm a rookie. My first season I didn't do anything. Let me be a rookie. And he made it pretty far. David was a big name. I mean, people were laughing at him. He was a big name because everyone was just laughing at him the whole time. But still, he made an impact. Tiffany here, like Quentin said, she's gone. I mean, I don't even know where she's at. I forgot she's in the game till I just seen her face on this tribe board. Like, I don't. Anyways, what happened? I forgot what happened.
See, we got two people right now that are visible in here that you do not see in challenges or in their tribe most of the time.
Well, and also, really, Stephanie LaGrossa has not been in the season as much as all. The only reason I remember she's in the game is because my mom, I watched the episodes of my mom a lot, and one of her favorite people is Stephanie. So she just gives the thing, where's she at? And I'm like, she's gone. I don't know. So we got, yeah, I don't know, but hopefully, 24 people in one episode is kind of hard. So hopefully, whenever we get downer and downer, they rather A, get voted off, or B, get a lot of screen time.
Okay. So after who won the challenges by Wade, you said?
So Vatu had a huge comeback. Thanks to just the people carrying it, and then the table people were able to do good, and they won along with the Kylo tribe. And one of my favorite things, and I really wish I had a GIF of it to send to people. Whatever they won, Charlie really wasn't paying attention because he just kind of dropped it, and he's just like, yes. And Coach was like very animated, and he jumped over to Charlie's thing and like went to go hug him, and ended up pushing him off. But they didn't even show it. Like, it was kind of, they was just like, win immunity. And like, you could see just slow, the coach jumps over and pushes Charlie off the thing. And I thought that was hilarious. But it was Panic Away, so it wasn't a big thing or anything. But I just seen that and I thought that was hilarious. And then we went to so Gala lost again. And by the way, I hate to be that guy, but did you catch who was in the middle of Kyla's losing again?
Oh, geez, I wonder who.
So you had Cirie, Ozzy, and Christian Hubicki, and which I gotta admit, they did a better job at putting them three together because I think they're closer in strength, but you still had Ozzy there, which I think outstrengths Cirie and Christian. And then you had Rick Devens yelling at them, telling them what to do. I think Ozzy, it's just a mess. The tribe just don't know what they're doing. And Cirie, again, y'all know I like her, so that's why I feel comfortable saying this. Obviously they're all responsible. It takes 3 people to move the ball, but she's in the middle. Visibly, Christian and Ozzy's like, hey, do this, move it, come on, bro, lock in, and she just kind of just standing there, and it just, I don't know.
I feel like they would be having better luck if they, like, for the mutant challenges, they put her in the beginning of the challenge, because I feel like if they keep putting her in the end of the challenge where it actually matters.
Yes, and I think a lot of people will be like, okay, well, for this challenge, how's Cirie going to lift the 200-pound steak? Put her with Joe. Put her with someone who's going to mostly do it themselves. She just has to lift it a little bit. Cirie does have a bad back. We figured this out in Big Brother 20, the season she was on. She has a bad back. So, but again, that's, I'm surprised they didn't vote her out last time, and I'm surprised that she wasn't in hype. She really wasn't in contention to vote out this time.
No, they forgot about her. They're like, oh, forget it.
So Quentin, who was on, there's no nominees, but who was on the chopping block for this eviction?
I'm pretty sure it was Ozzy, Joe, and I'm trying to remember, was it
Savannah.
Who? Yes, Savannah. Yeah, that's what I thought. But
So, oh, go ahead.
okay, so funny enough, they get back to the island, so like it, and all of a sudden you have Rick over here saying, "I'm done with Joe. I cannot deal with Joe the way
Devins
he
was
plays."
mad.
No. He was over here getting mad because Joe was over here. No offense, Joe, you're my favorite person on this side, this right now, but the way he's playing, no. I get it's. I get your morals and everything like that, but you cannot force everybody else to play the way you're playing, so kid. And you cannot be mad at them just because they're playing a different way.
Joe is such a popular player. I'm pretty sure Jeff Probst is good. You know, like how they're in the confessional, like on the rocks, like talking. I'm pretty sure Jeff
Yeah.
Probst is gonna fly in with one of the water jetpacks and slap him with the rule book and tell him, "Hey, buddy, you better start playing the game, or we're gonna ship you off to Netherland." Like, tell him, "Hey, lock in," because Joe has successfully made. There's 6 other people on the tribe. I'd say they all hate him. Other than I don't think Savannah really cared. Which also one thing that Joe did, and it's just like, bro, what are you doing? No, not Joe, sorry, Devins. So, obviously, so Rick Devins, Savannah, and who was the third person?
Oh.
Someone else. It was Rick, Savannah, and someone else was wanting to make an alliance with Joe. Um, and they did it in the so Rick and Joe was gonna walk off to talk about something. I forgot what it was. And Savannah went to Rick and oh, by the way, if anyone ever gets confused, Rick and Devins are the same person. It's just his real name is Rick, but is often referred to as Devins, and I kind of go back and forth. It's an accident. It's just sorry. That's just he was originally called Rick a lot, and then slowly turned into Devins. So so Devins and Savannah share a little whisper in front of the whole tribe, including Joe, which, as Quentin mentioned, Joe has 0 survivor logic. I mean, 0. And Joe just confronts him, and I think Devins was caught off guard by that.
Because again, you're not going to expect in Survivor someone to just call off you immediately when you're saying something. They'll wait for like, oh, okay, I just going to talk to these people, try to get phone down so we can. And Nathan, that's what Rick was scared of too. Like, okay, if we don't agree with Joe and how he plays this Soul Gate, he's going to probably say my name in the next tribal council and Soul Gate.
And everyone was
You can
okay
see,
with Joe. Everyone was okay with voting out Joe. I mean, it was pretty much unanimous. Let's vote out Joe. And I think a couple mentioned some people threw out Savannah because she's the new kid on the block. No one's watched her play. No one knows about her. And then you had the whole entire ordeal. Like, okay, we could just go after Ozzy because Ozzy is just he's kind of the big guy. He's the big survivor player on this tribe, and he's an easy takeout, and that also makes it a little easier to take out Cirie. And they also seem to have abandoned that. And Savannah clocked Cirie because Cirie was like, okay, yeah, we'll vote out Joe. Savannah clocked Cirie and said, hey, listen, or she didn't say it to her, but she said, Cirie's just trying to protect Ozzy by throwing out Joe. And she was 100% right.
see, I don't understand why they didn't just vote her off. They had a chance to. And again, she was a big part of the challenge. They losing Soul Gate, they just can't understand it.
No, Cirie, I don't know why they don't vote her out. But anyways, another big moment in this little thing here is there was a scene where Joe was on a hammock and Christian was sitting underneath him, rocking the hammock. And
yes, I remember.
I just thought that's just the best thing ever. And that's actually where the episode got the name Therapy Carousel. It was said by Christian. Which, by the way, another Survivor fun fact. Normally, the winner is the person who says the most names that's in the episodes.
Oh, so
44% of the time, the person who has the most names of the episode ends up winning. And the biggest case that ever was Tony in Winners at War. Because he had named, like, of the 14 episodes, he had said the name of the episode in 12 of the episodes. So it was like, hey, that's a couple. I don't know if that's fully the true number, but like I'm just like it was a huge amount. Yeah, and that's where he got the name at. And then they go to Tribal Council and Quentin. What happened at Tribal Council with the votings?
okay. So before we get into who gets folded out and so we get on Tribal Cancel, a lot has happened in this one. And it's the normal talking, folding out and so we get. And I think it's let's talk about who gets folded out first before we get into that. Because again, this isn't happening until the very end. Like when you think the episode's over with.
Okay, I'll go ahead and finish up the little Tribal Council thing here. So they all just do the little song and dance where they just talk about random nonsense. And Savannah kind of breaks down talking about, if you guys remember back from Survivor 49, Savannah talked about how it's kind of hard being herself and just blah, 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 whatever. And editing, I don't know about you, but I was like, Joe is gone. He's gone again. Bye, Joe. It's over. Because the editing of the episode was like, yeah, they're going after Joe. And then the votes came in. Alright, one second, we gotta cut. I don't know what she's doing. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. I'll resume in a few seconds. My mom had to come and tell me something. I think she forgot that we were podcasting. 3, 2, 1. Go. Come back in. So yeah, the first vote come back in, and it was Savannah, and then Joe, Savannah, and in my mind, I'm like, hold up, buddy, what is going on here? What in the world is happening? Savannah, and then Savannah, the tribe has spoken. Savannah, the winner of Survivor 49, became the third person eliminated from Survivor 50. Immediate thoughts, Quentin.
Okay, what I thought about that is like, wow, okay, that was a switch up in the half. They was talking about getting Aussie or Joe belt. Like, I know they mentioned her name a little bit there, but still, that is, wow. Not
There
expected
was
for me.
no signs.
Larry, you thought, like, okay, it's going to be Joe 100% and stuff like that because they're pulling the L, like, everybody wants him gone and stuff like that. Nope.
Yes, I mean there was no signs. The editing did not favor Savannah going at all. However, I understand why. I would send her out too. So, but yeah, that surprised me. And then the stunt of the century was pulled off after travel.
Okay. So, right before they're leaving Tribal Cancel, so you think, okay, the episode's in, so get this is usually where you get up, go to the bathroom, leave, and so because it's the end of the episode. If you did that, I'm sorry, you missed a biggest moment of the part
The
of
new
being one of
era.
the biggest moments of the
It's
season,
been
yeah.
decades.
So you got, I'm trying to remember, was it Christian that tripped or Rick?
So to put it in, so Christian and Rick basically knew, hey, listen, let's hide an idol at Tribal Council. So Christian Hubicki gets up, and they all get out to leave, and he plants his foot to the ground, falls, and while they all fall, Devins goes and puts an idol underneath the rock. Cinema.
Which, again, that is wild. I haven't seen anything like that, like never in a new era.
No.
Like, what was the last time you seen that, like, in a season?
Never happened before.
Never happened since the first? Wow.
Never happened before. Let me tell you some backstory here. Alright, everyone, let's get out your history books, go back to Survivor history. So this has never been done before. No one has ever hid anything in Tribal Council. Okay. 10 seasons ago, Survivor Winners at War. Adam, the winner of Survivor Gen X versus Gen Z, Millennials versus Gen X, was screwed. I mean, the guy, he had no chance. And so he stood up and started shaking Jeff's podium, trying to get the star off it, thinking that it was an idol. After that moment, Jeff clarified that there will never be anything hid at Tribal Council. So if any of these people watched Winners at War, they would know. They would know to watch out. But they won't, because they constantly change the game. So that's a little history. So it's never been done before. So this is a first. Do you think it's going to work? Yes or no? Early predictions.
Yes, I think it's going to work because, like you said, it never happened before, and they never going to be an idol in Tribal Council. That the show that the producers or anybody hid, that's what they said. They never said a player can hide an idol there. So there's a
Sure.
small percent, but I don't think anybody will find it. No.
Do you think that someone will randomly go up and look at it and grab it that is not Rick Devens or Christian Hibiki?
That is a big possibility, yes. Because I feel like if someone's like walking towards tribal councils, they get by the coincidence of they're like, I see something. I want to go sit over here, and that way I can try to grab it.
Yeah, so that goes on, and that is the end of the episode. Quentin, who is this week's MVP?
It is drumroll, please, for Christian. And well, also you could guess why he's the MVP, not because
Is it the pooping on himself or is it the idol?
it is it's the idol play. It's okay, but the pooping on himself has a lot to do with it. Because again, you might be like, why not Rick? He helped with High Idol. It's because this episode was mainly, you could tell, it's mainly focused on Christian more in this episode than Silicon.
In the conversations between me and Q, again, on TikTok, me and Quentin, not Q. I've not been talking to Q from Survivor. Me and Quentin have been talking about, it was big. It was Christian or Rick Devens. And we both agreed on Christian. We didn't fight each other over it. We both agreed. But in my mind, another thing about put Christian over Rick is Rick kind of had the issue with Joe, which I think is a negative to his game. So I think that pushes him down a little bit and rises Christian up. Also, he got the name of the episode. The swinging with Joe is hilarious. So I think it has to be Christian Hibiki here.
It's not like we're taking like a score sheet for like each player, like how they do in the episode.
We got like, Oh, and again, next time, if you guys want on TikTok, after the episode goes live, I'm going to post on TikTok who you guys think the MVP is for the week. And whoever's the top voted person on there, along with our opinions, will be who we announce as MVP in the next podcast here. Savannah, going on, so let's go ahead and go to our draft screen real quick. And it reveals that I'm still standing.
You're still the number one Survivor player, looks
and
like.
I just got to say, if you look at these groups right here, I'm confident. Which I got two people who's getting shadow banned from the show. But then I got Coach, which is in a good spot. Christian and Rick is in a good spot. Kobe's in a good spot. I'm comfortable. Poor old Joe. I don't see him. I don't see how they allow him to last much longer.
Well, again, they might forget about all the stuff he's doing, like how they did with a certain someone I'm not going to name.
A question: Do you think Joe will ever change his ways?
No. That is just how his personality is. No, he will never change it. No.
Okay. So that is the end of the episode. However, and oh, by the way, there is no On Fire podcast this season.
Yeah, I know. I figured that out. I was going to.
We are the On Fire podcast. We are them.
Okay. I guess, yeah. So if you want a Survivor podcast, we're the only ones, so.
We're the only ones now. Okay. Leaked information. So if you guys like Survivor spoilers and you like talking about Survivor and you somehow still don't want, because I know this is kind of like a 2D spoiler because it is a even bigger spoiler, and I was going to put it on the screen, but I only just recently seen it, so I'm going to be reading this off here. We learned, again, spoiler warning, this is spoilers for future episodes. But we were going to go over it because it's just, it's not like eliminations. It's just, so we got, drop your buffs. We're switching tribes. We actually have who's on which tribes. You got revealed somehow. Have you seen this yet?
No, I have not seen it yet.
Okay, so let's go ahead and go by one-on-one and talk about each tribe just because we got a couple of minutes here and what the heck. Let's just go ahead and get into it. All right, so the New Sela tribe. So we got 7 people in each tribe. So the New Sela tribe consists of Cirie, Rick Devens, Charlie, Dee, Jonathan, Camilla, and Rizzo. So immediate notes from this tribe straight off the bat here. There is 4 Kalo: Charlie, Dee, Jonathan, and Camilla. Another note is there's 5 new era players and 2 old era players. The only old era players on this tribe is Devens and Cirie. Also, this splits up Devens, Emily, and Hibiki, and it puts Dee and Charlie together. Which that means nothing. They were on the same season. I'm sorry. That doesn't mean anything.
Surprised out that they were for some reason.
Yeah, I did too. I said that and I was like, wait, no, that's not true. Okay, so that's that tribe. That's a pretty powerful tribe. Oh, and Rizzo's by himself. He's the only person from his initial tribe coming over to this tribe.
Do you think he'd be shorted out because of that.
Rizzo's already short out because he's the 5th string. I think this may be doomsday for good old Sheree Fields. Because it's just, there's just so many people here that are competition beasts or very, very, I think Sheree may be gone after this if they lose a challenge.
Probably, yes.
Okay, and then we have the brand new Callow Tribe, which I am subplotting the name Irrelevant - Won't Play the Game Tribe. So I'm sure you guys already can tell what's going on here. So from the original Callow Tribe, Stana Callow, you have Chrissy, who has been shadow banned from this season. You have Coach and Tiff, which has been shadow banned from this season. You also have Aubrey and Genevieve on the same tribe again, along with Kobe and Joe. So just a quick recap: you have Tiff, Chrissy, that are pretty much gone. You have Coach and Joe, which aren't playing the game, and then you got Kobe, Aubrey, and Genevieve, which that also splits up that giant alliance even further. Oh, and also just one more side note, and then we'll. You have Chrissy, Coach, and Tiffany from one tribe, and you have Aubrey, Colby, and Genevieve, with Joe being in the middle, which is interesting. Which Aubrey and Genevieve, I don't think are working with each other. I think it's safe to say.
Yeah, I think it's very safe to say they're not now.
And then at last we have the new Vatu tribe, which consists of Angelina, Q, Stephanie, Christian Ubicki, Emily, Ozzy, and Mike White. With Mike White being the only person from his tribe, with the other tribes being split down the middle. So overall, we got 3 brand new teams. What is your initial opinions?
So the first thing that comes to mind is, I know it's in Survivor 50 and so like they want to switch things a little bit and so like it, because it's the hands of the fans so like it. But whenever I did that vote, I did not see anything about like swiping tribes early in the game so like it.
This like, is insanely early.
Yes, this is on episode 3, and they're like, okay, switch it up.
I also think. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Unless, for some reason, I'm just putting a big guess here that might not be true. This is only temporary because I remember in some challenges they do that, but I do that in Silicate. Like they'll switch tribes around in Silicate.
No, he said drop your buff. Like this is one of the moments. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, this was a very much a drop your buffs. We're switching tribes. You're going to a new tribe. But I wonder, like you said, I bet this isn't the last time they're switching tribes. I think we may even see for the first time in Survivor history it's not the first time, but first time in a long time. We may eventually see at some point 4 teams.
4 teams, wow.
I mean, that'd be crazy, but...
Yeah, I had not seen 4 teams ever since I started watching, so that'd be...
I think Survivor Cook Islands is the only season that they've split. That was the season where they had 5 white people, 5... Like, they split people based off race. And they had 5 tribes.
Oh.
Yeah, Survivor had some wild seasons back in the day. But yeah, so that's going to be the new tribes moving forward. I definitely think Kala's going to be beast unless Sari holds him down. I hate to say it, but I think that's where it's going to. Is there anything else you want to add?
Nope, I think that's everything.
All right, guys. If you guys enjoyed this video, please hit like and subscribe. I really appreciate it. And if you guys have any comments down below, hey, I mean, we are open ears to ask. What? We are open ears to listen. That's not, you don't talk with your ears. And yeah, I think that's it for this video. Thank you guys.
We'll see you all in the next episode. Bye-bye.